In the last year, I made over $30,000 on Upwork, and 15,000 of that came in just the last 4 months. So today I'm going to share 6 tips with you on how I got here and what I would do if I was starting a freelancing career from zero in 2026, with the goal of slowly transitioning into a full-time career in the slow freedom digital nomad life. For some people watching this, 30K might not sound like much, especially compared to the hype videos promising 100K in 2 months. This video does not teach any of that, but I am bringing another point of view. What I want to talk about are the real strategies that can help you create a sustainable freelancing career no matter what niche and no matter where you want to do it from. And by the end of the video, my goal is that you have a much clearer idea of what it actually takes to build a freelancing life and how to slowly grow into something that can support a new lifestyle, more freedom, and less panic and potential to keep growing as time goes. Step number 1, the mentality of a successful freelancer. Let's start with the mindset. There are a lot of ways to make money online, and we are always hearing stories of people who made millions in their first year or 10K in their first month. Truth be told, most of them are made up or they are outliers, which means we are not going to focus on that here. A freelancer who wants to succeed is not delusional and is not trying to take shortcuts or an easy way of making some quick buck. If you are watching this is probably not the first video you've seen about freelancing, but I hope it's one of the more honest ones. If I had to start my career again from zero, the first thing I would do is to actually stop consuming content left and right. I'll sit down and ask myself, what are my actual strengths? What do people already come to me for? How could I package that into a service or a simple product? Then I'd put all of my energy into testing that instead of chasing a new idea every week. A successful freelancer focuses on starting rather than making everything perfect a million times. Step number 2, have a service or a product to start with. A lot of you might feel like you have nothing to add to people's lives, and I struggled a lot with that too in everything I did in my life. So instead of obsessing over that, you need to adopt a scientist mindset. In my case, my job was to experiment. Try something, and if it flopped, it flopped. You can either linger on it or move on. You should really move on. My advice is, think about what you could offer as a service and start by charging hourly. It's a simple way to learn as you go, reduce the pressure, and get experience with real people. A bonus tip here, in case you don't have a lot of experience, is to choose a market where the barrier of entry is smaller. Social media management, the one I chose, short form video editing, personal assistant, and so on. You can find tons of ideas if you ask ChatGPT about it. My first real freelance attempt was teaching English online to Brazilians living abroad. I wasn't the most qualified teacher, but I took that first step and started reaching out to people, and that's where things began. Step 3. Focus on one approach for 3 to 6 months. Once you know what you're offering, the next question is, how and where do I find clients? There are endless ways to get clients online. That's a good and a bad thing at the same time, because you get overwhelmed with the amount of choices. So because of that, you should limit your choices to one. If I was starting again, I would still pick one main approach and commit to it for at least 3 to 6 months. For me, that platform was and still is Upwork. When I taught English, it was Facebook. When I decided to take Upwork seriously, I just ignored everything else. I could have had a profile on Fiverr, People Per Hour, freelancer.com, you name it. But I chose to focus on one platform. I wanted to learn everything that needed to be learned about it and focus on that. I focus on how the platform works, how to write better proposals there, how to build a reputation there, and how to charge more for clients, etc. Bit by bit, I learned the system and built trust. It took me time, but I now have over 800 hours of work done on Upwork alone, and in total, I've been paid over $40,000 on the platform. And that didn't come from hacks, it came from slowly stacking credibility. And like with most platforms, growth is slow at first and then it compounds. That's where things have started to shift for me in the last months. And if you expect growth to be ridiculously fast, especially in the beginning, you may miss some very important lessons that only time can teach you. Step number 4. Have a job on the side. Don't go full-time immediately. I say this a lot in my videos because it matters and it's the main reason I was able to succeed. Do not start this as your full-time career on day one. Do not. When I started freelancing, I worked as a full-time as a waiter in Denmark, and I built this on the side slowly. That gave me something incredibly valuable: space to choose the right clients, space to learn, and the space to reject offers. When your rent and groceries depend on your first freelancing clients, you will say yes to things you shouldn't, underprice yourself, and accept red flag projects with clients you really don't want to work with just because you were scared and you depend on that money to make do. The more urgent your money situation is, the worse your decisions tend to be. And trust me when I say it, this comes from a guy who's an expert in making those terrible decisions in the past and still sometimes in the present. Clients can feel desperation. Even if your rate is low, they don't usually choose the desperate option. Desperation signals a lack of professionalism and often a lack of self-control. People want to feel like their time and money is taken seriously. Having a job on the side is not a failure, it's a strategy to success. It's what makes this a slow freedom career building exercise rather than begging your client to pay your grocery bills. Step 5, charge less in the beginning on purpose. Now hear me out. I know this might trigger a lot of you, and I'm not here to tell you how to price your work, and I absolutely hate when someone asks me to lower my rate. I am not here to tell you how much you should charge, but the only reason I'm confident in my pricing now is because I proved to myself that I can deliver the value I charge for. In the beginning, charging less can be a very healthy way to fight imposter syndrome and learn how the market works and what the competitive rates are. Most of us have a number that makes us poop our pants because it makes us feel like we are frauds. So instead of forcing yourself to start at that scary number, start smaller. Learn your market, learn your niche, learn your craft, build proof and confidence. The courage to charge more later is built little by little by doing good work at lower rates first and then climbing, because later on you will be asked for proof of what you did, and like this you get to build it in a very sustainable way. And this only works well if you remember the previous step. You have a job. You're not trying to pay all your bills from day one with your first freelancing experiment. Step 6, just start, damn it. I can sit here and talk for hours. Believe me, I could, because I already do. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of us are waiting for a permission that is never coming. Start today, start slow, start small, but do yourself a favor. Just start, don't postpone it again. Extend your timeline. Instead of trying to go full time in 1 month, aim for 1 year. Give yourself 12 months of experiments, failures, and small wins so you can grow as you go. The longer your timeline, the less pressure you put on each individual step. And suddenly, this whole thing becomes lighter, more playful, and way more sustainable, because after all, we're all just trying to figure things out, right? Love yourself a little. Not the type of love you give yourself in the dark, if you know what I mean. Give yourself a real chance to succeed by taking things slow and intentional. That's how life quietly starts to change. Not from one big decision, but from a bunch of small, boring, consistent ones. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments if you'd like a full breakdown on how to build a strong Upwork profile, or a video just on how I write proposals that get replies. Consider subscribing if you want to, and if you don't, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Much love, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.